Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to CP Podcast. I'm Coach Yost. This is Coach Corsi, and today we have a
Yo.
special guest, Ty Jackson from the Savannah Bananas. How you doing today?
I'm
Woo!
doing good. How about you guys?
We're fantastic, man. We appreciate you hopping on today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so a little bit about Ty Jackson. He graduated from Mandarin High School here in Jacksonville in 2020. Played his JUCO ball at East Georgia. Transferred to Division I FAMU. Now he's a Savannah Banana. Some little highlights from him. In 2023, he was all SWAC second team, played in 53 games, 204 ABs, batted 373, 65 hits, 76 runs, 8 doubles, 5 triples, 4 home runs. Following year, first team all SWAC. He was SWAC all tournament team, played in 47 games, 65 hits. He batted 387, 47 runs, 41 RBIs, 8 homers. He had
Woo.
21 multi-hit games.
Go
That's what you
off.
call it. That's what you call a game record right there. So on top of that, highlight you were SWAC commissioner honor roll. That's want to highlight that too. That's pretty important. So with all those stats, we do have one question. We can go into context about this. We hope you remember this. Do you still live your life like a 3-1 count?
Every single day. That's how I live my life, like a 3-1 count.
Fantastic, man. Tell that story, Coach Corsi.
All right. So, first of all, do you remember who you hit it off of?
It was one of the Lincoln kids. I
Heck
can't
yeah, it
remember.
was.
I
Well,
can't
we
remember.
figured Brodkowski, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I pronouncing his last name right? Polish
Gronkowski.
power. Yeah, yeah.
One of the
So
Lincoln kids.
listen, we talk about it all the time, but we're scrimmaging, preparing for, our showcase summer. And the coaches are standing, behind Ty in the box, and we're live scrimmage. And Ty it's a 3-1 count, and pitcher lifts his leg up, and we hear him start talking. He goes, "Live life like a 3-1 count." Bam, and he hits an absolute bomb at Trinity Christian. Now, if you've never played at Trinity, it's a graveyard. I think they made them move they think they moved their stuff up since, but back when we were using their field, that was a graveyard. So, but if you had to pick, if I had to pick one person that had the courage to say that and then perform, because a lot of people could say stuff in the box, but they don't actually perform. So we already knew he was special, but it was still like, did this just really happen? And we tell the story, we tell our 8, 9, 10-year-olds this story about confidence in the box and some swag. And so it was one of the greatest things I've literally ever seen. Oh. What made you do? Have you done that before and we just caught you at a good time?
I think
Because you already made the team. It wasn't like you're on the chopping block. It wasn't like you better do something here or you're cut. So what made you do that?
honestly, I don't know. I just was, I love to talk. So I guess I just caught myself talking in the box, and I just felt confident. Like I was seeing them pitches, and I was just like, you know what? Let me just say this. And honestly, if I would have swung and missed, I mean, I could have sat there and laughed a little bit, but I didn't, so I could laugh even harder because the ball went out.
Did you swing
also
harder on that
92.
than you normally would swing?
See, that's the thing. I don't think I did.
Right, I
Like,
don't either.
I think I just was in my flow state, and I kind of just blacked out, and it was just like up and in, and I caught it out front, and left center.
It was 92 too, because we had the gun on that.
Oh, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know
That was the
that.
first time we realized this kid could play baseball after high school. We turned on that. We weren't sure until then. We needed that moment. That's for sure.
It was a fun weekend. So with that moment, you were with CP for a long time. We were together a long time. So some of our best memories are from all those days and hours of practices at Jack's Heights, and we grinded out there as staff and as players, not only your age group, but like other age groups too, and combined with our practices. What stood out the most to you, during those memories?
Honestly, well, if you want me to be honest, first off,
Always.
Jack's Heights, that's a far drive, for me, But honestly, I think that's the first time I got to understand, because like we practiced almost like a college team or professional team. You're stretching on, like when you get older, you're stretching on your own. You're getting loose and stuff like that, and you're not sitting there, doing bunt defense and all this. You're like all right, fly balls, ground balls, BP. That's what we're gonna do. And I'm like, yo, this is like the first time in this atmosphere where I'm like, yo, I can actually get my work in, like my own work in. So I think that was truly like a stepping stone for me. And then being able to practice with the younger kids and older kids, being able to help develop the younger kids, but also
Mhm.
learning from the older guys. So you're like in that, you're in that. It's like we're all one organization, but like one team, and it's helping us each individually grow. So that's some stuff I took from Jack's Heights.
All right. And we had some long days at Westside High School. We had some 5, 6 hour days at that place. So we needed it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You know,
And
well,
Ty came over at you and Aiden came over at 13.
Well,
13. That's when we first got you guys, and it really that was big because that was instant value to a team of that's a close knit group, and you guys fit in perfectly and finished out what we started. But any more questions there, Yosti? What's next for us?
well, go on about those practices, those max reps. We would, just maxify, the amount of reps you guys would get at those practices. So like that's why we're able to be successful is just max out reps. But along with that team, along with your age group, we worked all the way up to 17U, and we had our perfect blend of players where we had 7 or 9 4 nucleus players that we developed through small field 13 14U to develop that chemistry. Then we added players, as we always do at showcase ball, to add depth so we can compete on that national level. And we had the Panhandle kids 17U, and we looking back, that team had a lot of success. I mean, we had 17 commits on that team. I was looking back, and like there was a lot of really good ball players, and that was a good number for us. 17, not our highest, but still a good number. What do you think helped? Like, what structure? Like, why do you think that worked for us? Being able to have the core nucleus players and then be able to add the additional players. Why do you think that philosophy and structure works for the type of brand of baseball that we have?
honestly, like I always think you need a core group of guys, and then if you have that good core group of guys, they can branch off and like I wouldn't say necessarily help the new guys, but like bring them into like the core. So like I honestly remember like when we found out who's on the team, like Aiden's inviting them over, like they can stay at his house and stuff like that. And I was always at his house. So I
Right.
think that helped build chemistry and stuff like that. So then when you build chemistry off the field, you're obviously going to have chemistry on the field. So I think hanging out outside of the field is one of the biggest things to, building chemistry, especially if you're like that core group and then bringing in the new guys and help build the team chemistry overall.
Well, and you saved our ass that summer in Dirty Red because you know my when you were younger, it's like 13. I couldn't promise you all the world, but I said, if we stick together, we're going to be able to write a good story. We've already added, even to this day, we're highly decorated in terms of some of the accomplishments we've had as a small market organization on a national scale. And we had every long tenure team that's been with us did something magical at 17U. And your group, we didn't start out great because we did have those panhandle kids, and they weren't ready for us on how we did things. Like our love for each other was we're trying to love those guys. They didn't want to be loved. Just quite. You remember that? Yeah,
Yep.
there was a couple altercations where I remember coming a little bit unglued, and then we're down there playing in a national event that was probably one of your in my best memories of that I'll ever have my entire career. And we were about to go home as a 33 seed, and and um and we got in as the last seed. There was an upset later in the day, and it's like a switch turned on for all of us. Some of those kids, which I care about dearly, but they had to go over. They had to go to Troy for a showcase,
Yep.
and I remember saying it like, and I hate this. This sounds terrible because I love those guys, but they just weren't like this, like all of our CP teams have been. And when that group had to go, to Troy for their showcase, we became 13 UCP 14 UCP, and we just go off. I mean, you remember back to back to back to back extra inning games.
Yep.
I mean, if we don't have Ty Jackson, he willed it. We played the number 4 team in the country as Power in the semifinals. It was a 14 inning game in triple digit temperatures. It was out of control. It was down there in Auburndale. And he willed us to that victory. And it's something, like you don't even think about those things probably as a player, but when you're a coach, I'll never forget that the rest of my life. It's one of those core memories that, like, if I don't have you, that not even just that day, but during that time, I mean, you are one of the reasons I'm talking inside a 28,000 square foot facility, and doing something for our community that we really need. But what a day! 14 innings, you will us the victory, and our reward was trip to the national championship against the undefeated Canes Nationals, the next day. Thank God we didn't have to play them the same day, because a lot of times the semis and the
Yep.
championship same day. Like, I
Yep.
don't know. We had 2 POs hitting in that lineup that day. But they were CPers. Like, they hit when they were younger with us. It was just one of those crazy stories, like Kobe Branch pitching the World Qualifier Championship. He goes CG and we win the world qualifier. He hadn't pitched an inning for us the whole summer, but he did when he was on the younger team. So that was one of those stories, right? Tell me, how much can you remember about that tournament? And tell me, like, that, how incredible was that 14 inning game? I mean, it was just so action packed, man. Like, do you
Uh,
remember that game? I know you remember it, but
I remember that whole tournament so clearly. So like we're like the 31st seed, 32nd seed, and we have to wake up the next morning and play, you know, whatever the second seed. And I remember like the night before we went to Hooters, right? And
yeah,
we
yeah.
we had wings.
Field trip.
Yep, yep, we had wings, right? So then we come out the next morning, and I feel like we kind of, wasn't it like a 6-2 game where we were like kind of comfortable, where we beat them like clearly
No, no. That's why I say it gets a little foggy. We won every game in extra innings.
every game.
Every game was in extra innings.
All right, the
And then
only
the
game
last one was
I remember
yeah,
is
yeah.
power,
But yeah, it's yeah, yeah.
but power. I remember the extra inning games. Everybody's in the dugout drenched, and the way, and I just remember, extra innings, and then Tyler Childress, high throw, he catches the ball, tag behind his back, and we won. And I'm like, you know what? If it's anybody, it was him. And so much respect to that team. And it was just that core group of guys. And I,
Think about how hard Tyler had to fight over all those years, being not developed yet and not ready, right? And good kid, good family, and he's a part of that. I mean, those stories are amazing. Kids that people would give up on in a hurry, coaches would.
mhm.
But he had some X factors about him that we liked, and but that was a great. And we really did give Canes. I mean, on paper they should have beat us about 15-0, in 3 innings. But that was one of their tightest games. They went undefeated this summer. That summer they were undefeated, and that we gave them hell. And you remember Cam Fawcett, that he was safe at home, and they rung him up, and we had a lot of momentum going on early. We played really really well, but that's one of the best memories I have of you. And I want to talk about some other things, especially like East Georgia and me finding your future wife. But the everybody talks the same thing about when, because I met you at 13U. When did people start talking about you in terms of your energy, and like, because they've done articles about, like, you could be losing 15-0 or winning 15-0. You're the same person no matter what the score is. And you're in a rare category, yeah, obviously. How did it happen? Like, how old were you? Obviously you got great family background. Like, you have a great family that teaches core values. But how did this happen where you became this energy guy, and that you always picking people up. Your leadership abilities just like off the chart. So, how old were you? Because it was before, obviously I
Yeah.
met you and Coach Yost met you.
So I would say, remember, because Aiden joined the year before me, and
Okay.
remember we played you guys, and you guys totally waxed us or
Yeah,
whatnot.
but you had a triple.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember you hitting a triple off of us. I remember asking you, why are you not with us yet? I remember that. Okay. So
but
you came at 14, you and Aiden came at 13. Okay.
yeah. So I think it was when I was with the Red Tails because I knew we weren't really good at all, and I was just like, you know what, like I could easily be the type of dude to like, just get what I had to do and get where I had to go, or I could be the dude that brings the energy, competes, and helps us try to win. And I think that's when I finally found my staple of like, like you're not always gonna go 4 for 4, but like you can always bring energy to the field every day and always be the same person every day. And I think that's when I was like, if I can be the same person every day, people will respect me highly and understand that I'm here to win. And if I ground out to the pitcher, I'm still going to run the hardest 90 I ever ran. And I think it's just leading by example. If someone sees you pull up on a, infield ground ball, they're going to be like, oh, I can do that too. But if they see me run a full hard 90, they're going to be like, oh, we need to run a full hard 90 too. So I think it just came, with the Red Tails, leading by example and understanding, if you give everything you got and you lose, you gave everything you got.
Right.
So that's what I live by.
That's that kind of leads me into my next question, which is kind of to piggyback off that. What would you be what would you say your teammates, current and former, would say what they like best about you?
I think they say Ty Jackson's the same dude every day, and no matter if he goes 0 for 4, no matter if he goes 4 for 4, he's still gonna have he's still gonna bring the energy, and after the game, he's gonna have a smile on his face. He's gonna say wipe it, and we're gonna go at him the next day because he's gonna come to work, and I think they're gonna say he's an awesome person and he's just very contagious. So I think that's what they'd say about me.
Ty,
That
did you ever have the opposite effect where because you were so, we know you, so we know how genuine you are. Did you ever have a bad teammate? Think, man, this dude's not fake. This dude's fake. Like, it can't always be like this. Have you ever encountered that? I know not with us. Maybe some of those new kids that came over, right? But did that ever happen to you in college? You ever had to go through anything like that before?
good
Uh,
question.
100%. I feel like there's dudes that will start the year with high energy and then it'll like slowly come down. But I feel like I've had like I wouldn't say I've had terrible teammates, but I have had some bad teammates where their energy is kind of contagious and they're like, oh, we're gonna lose. But like I'm like, yo, like if we just like play hard, bro, anything can happen. We're literally playing baseball. Like
Right.
everybody puts their pants on the same way. It's just and I the reason I'm not saying I wouldn't have any bad teammates because I think I engraved it early, but there were still definitely some negative teammates that I had. So
All right. That was a challenging question right there. I wanted to just thinking about that one.
That was a good one. This can kind of tie into the story, like what your story was after high school and how you reached junior ball and D1 and then now Savannah Banana. But what was the most difficult adjustment that you had to make going from high school to junior college to D1 to Savannah ball? And this can kind of like even tie into how you ended up at East Georgia. I know that's a cool story that Coach Forsey wanted to, bring up because, the way we run things, that that wouldn't have happened. And so,
yeah, I honestly think the reason I got to East Georgia because I think it started with my dad understanding like he was never he would like push me, but he was never forcing me. Right? He was like, if you want to go get work in, let me know and I'll come toss to you. If you want to go get work on your own, like you're able to drive now. You can go drive to the field and get work in. So I think that's like the high school point of when like I started going to the field by myself, getting a routine off the tee. And I think that was like junior year, like before junior year, so sophomore summer, going into my junior year and understanding like, yo, you have to get work in on your own. And I think that's how I ended up at East Georgia, and kudos to you guys because you guys helped me out a lot with that too because we had that double
Well,
year.
Ty, like you're a perfect example. You weren't metrically driven. Like, you didn't have the 95 arm. You didn't run 6.560. You didn't have 100-mile-an-hour exit velo. It just, you had everything else.
Tangible.
You win championship with guys like you. And I still think we would have found you a home, but you performed at such a high level. So it had to be frustrating for you. Like, man, nobody's interested and I'm playing as hard as I can. And so Coach McCombie was at East Georgia and we loved that dude. And I mean, most of you guys, when I took you all to play them, didn't even know where the hell we were going. We were in the middle of nowhere and nobody even heard of the school. And, but they loved you, they loved you right away. And what a great, opportunity. And no disrespect, to them, because Coach did a good job with the resources he had. But I'm thinking, man, if we don't go play that game against them, if we don't go take our CP team and play them that day, I don't think East Georgia, would have been somewhere you ended up. But what, how, what can you tell our kids, our CP kids that aren't like having these unbelievable metrics? Like, what do you fight for them, you do what you got to do for them. But if they don't have those metrics, how do they stand out? Do they follow your route? How to stand out on the diamond with high energy. I mean, most college coaches were scrappers. You had some that played at elite level. You have some pro guys in the college game. But at the end of the day, a lot of the most successful college coaches were scrappers. They had to fight for everything they got. Maybe even played at some small schools. So what is your advice to them they're really good players? They help you win championships, but they're not going to go to an individual showcase and stand out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I'm not a showcase player at all. So I think if you go to those things, be hard to strike out and then just, get dirty. Go make the tough play. I mean, make the easy plays obviously, but go make the tough play. And just be the high energy guy there, cuz when you're loud people will notice, but don't be obnoxiously loud like sometimes I do, but whatever. But
You have to be now, I think.
yeah,
So
be
you
hard
better
to
be at
strike out.
least.
I still do a two strike approach, choke up. I'm not striking out. And just make the hard play. Go make that diving play. Do something that stands out, and then if you're loud, they'll notice. So yeah, be
What
scrappy.
you you made some noise at East Georgia right away. So tell me what you got accomplished there.
So East Georgia was right after COVID, so it was 2020 going into 2021 spring, and like the fall was super weird because COVID and stuff like that. So we had off and on weeks and stuff like that. And I think like the fall, it was just hard to like understand who I am and where I'm at. And the spring comes along, and we lose like our first two games. St. John's River. So we're playing St. John's River, and I get a pinch hit at bat, and I get a hit, and we get run ruled or whatever. Next time St. John's River comes to our field, we are getting 10 run ruled, so we have to score, and I get another pinch hit at bat, and I get a single, and we bat all the way through the lineup, and I'm about to be up, and the dude before me gets out. And then the next game, I think the coach realized, and he started me, and I went 4 for 4. So McCumbee, shout out McCumbee. And I think that's when I truly found myself where I was like, yo, I'm going to get to the field early. I'm going to do my T routine, and it doesn't matter if anybody else is there. And, I just found myself finally founding who I am and what I need to do for this team because JUCO really is all about yourself to try to make
Right.
it to the next level. But also, like, you want to be team oriented to where you're like, yo, we need to win. So doing whatever you have to do to help you get to the next level and helping your team win. Because if you're winning, I mean, coaches will come and see. If you're losing, not so much.
Yeah. I got a tough question for you, though, and maybe not be a tough one. I feel like I know the answer to this one, but do you think when you left East Georgia and went to that, family went to that next level, did you think you needed the JUCO route? You think you could have impacted the Division I game in as a freshman at a 4-year school? Tough
Honestly,
question,
yeah,
but
question. Honestly, I think I could have went to the D1 level right away, but I think the struggle of not starting right away at East Georgia and, having the weird fall and COVID and stuff like that East Georgia helped me out a lot mentally and understanding like you have like even though you've made it to a JUCO, you still have to make it to a D1. You have to go and get working still by yourself. Like you have to do stuff individually if you want to become a better player. And I think that's what it really helped me with understanding like who I am as a hitter and what I need to be ready. So, but I do think I could have went to FAMU right out of high school,
yeah,
and
yeah. So do I.
Yeah.
I really do. And I think you'd have been at least a 3-year starter. I'm glad you keep talking about working on your own because you remember when you were little, and we say it all the time. If you think 3 days with CP a week is going to get you to the promised land, you got something coming to you. So we still instill that into the kids. Like you better be working behind closed doors on your own, and we're a good pathway, for the kids, but you better be working on your own. And you've talked about that multiple times, and I appreciate that. It's good for the young kids to hear from you and not me or Coach Host. So,
Yeah. So I have a question about the Savannah Bananas. I know a lot of people are interested in that. So, I mean, we feel you are always destined to be a star. So, going from town to town, you get all the attention, all the love, signing autographs. Um, how is it? I mean, you have
it
your own jersey, man. Like there, I was looking at my text the other day. I showed the boys. You have a jersey with 100 pictures of your faces on it.
it is truly a blessing. I still play the game hard. I don't try to take any game for granted just because it's someone's first game. I want to leave that. I want to leave an impact on them, like if I get to talk to them, but I also want to leave an impact on them on how I play. This dude's gonna play hard no matter what. If it's in front of, you know, 65,000 or in front of, an inner squad, if the fans come to our practice, this dude's gonna play hard. So, it's just truly a blessing. Grateful for the opportunity, and I just don't want to take any day for granted.
were you were you expecting the franchise? I mean, that was big news, right? Were you expecting that, or do they? Are you really? Did they let you know behind the scenes a little bit? I mean, you might not be able to answer that one, or were you just surprised as anybody? Like, oh, let's go. How was that?
I think it was just up in the air because we got to franchise 11 people and there's 22 people on our team. And honestly, I didn't think I was gonna. I told Coach Gillum, I was like, honestly, I didn't think you were gonna franchise me. Like and then he said, no, what you bring to the locker room and what you bring to the field every day is what this team, stands on by bringing energy and playing hard, and that's what we stand on. So we want you in the locker room and everything. So I was just like, all right, yeah. But at first, I didn't think I was going to get franchised. I thought I was going to go to the Clowns or or something like that. So
He's
it's
stacked.
yeah,
I think Vegas got them favored. I think I told a couple people. I said they may go undefeated, let alone so a pretty stacked squad.
yeah. So, but shout out Tyler Gillum. Like he's been my coach since 2021 when I was in the CPO, 2022 in the CPO, and right when I
Right.
got back, and he just loves my energy, and I'm glad he loves it because some coaches don't like him obnoxious baseball player, and that's what I am, scrappy.
Oh yeah, you made our games heated. I know our opposition struggled with you sometimes. Here we go, boys. They're back up tie. Let's
Yup.
go. Hey, tell me about this wonderful. How's because me and Mrs. Coach Corsi were at that beautiful wedding. So joking, I still believe the big man takes care of finding your soulmate. But if you had to really dig down deep, if we don't play East Georgia that day, I don't know if you meet her and she's with another man.
Yeah,
Maybe a 6'4" lefty. That procreates and sends them down here to us in Brunswick.
yeah.
But we'll take you. How is she doing? Because she was an athlete as well.
She was an athlete. She was a pitcher. So, yeah, Hillary Jack. And I mean, it's almost been a year, December 14th, since
That's
our
right.
anniversary. So, but shout out to her. She kept my head straight. When we first started dating at the springtime of 2021, and she kept my head straight in Tallahassee. So she was a big factor of I think why I had success. And I could focus on the right things. And yeah, so but shout out to you guys because I mean we would have never played East Georgia. She would have been
I'm
with the
telling you.
lefty and living in a house.
When how long we waiting for children? I'll
It's
put you
gotta
on the
be like
spot. I mean, hopefully she listens to this because
it's got to be like 2 more years. It's got to be like when I'm
how old are you right now?
24.
Yeah, 2 years at the most.
All right, 2 years at the most, yes. But it's just she just started teaching this year. Like so she's loving that. She loves the little kids and stuff like that. She teaches first grade.
Have
And
fun.
Saw them.
yeah. Yeah, and I'm traveling, so I wouldn't want to leave her all
I know.
you
Right.
know. But I mean, I
Ride
might.
the wave while you can.
You know.
What's your favorite venue you've played at? I mean, like number one, no ties. Just where's the most fun you had playing at venue wise?
San Diego. Pet.
Yeah. How many? What was it? What was the crowd that night?
I mean, it was sold out. It had to be like I don't know whatever Petco
Big
holds,
stadium.
and it was
Yeah.
back-to-back nights. Yeah, and I mean I've been to the West Coast one time because we played in Anaheim. So, but San Diego was like the beach was right there and stuff like that. So overall, and I played really well. So I have to say San Diego.
Dude, you're signing autographs. Like little kids go bananas for you. Like I really want to do like every December do like an 18 tournament here in South Georgia. It's all banana rules. I mean, I'm going to start letting our kids try to do trick plays because teaching them how to field balls the right way is not working. So I may be holding them back. I'm going to tell them to do trick plays because the routine play fundamentally is not working at the moment. I'll get there with these guys, but we may start trick plays only. So.
Speaking of, like one of the questions I had, are there any new tricks that we're going to see from Ty Jackson in 2026? Anything new?
See, you know what? That's the thing with me. I don't know what trick I'm gonna do till the ball's hit in the air.
I like that.
So I might surprise myself sometimes.
Fair
But
enough.
I don't know. I just go with the flow. And I think the hardest part is knowing when to do the trick play and also like cuz like you don't want to blow the game, but also like trying to win. So I think that's just the hardest part. And sometimes when I miss, I just go for the craziest stuff and I'm like, what was I doing? But I mean,
Yeah.
if I miss, the fans are laughing, so I'm laughing
Yeah,
too.
you got to take some swings for sure.
Yeah.
You got to take some swing. How talented? This thing's getting real with talent.
Hmm.
Like it's getting absolutely insane. So how are you amazed by what some of these guys? Because you got a hodgepodge. I mean, this year's draft surprised the world. The first pick overall. You got big leaguers in there. You got
Yeah.
former pro
Yeah.
guys. You got all college guys. Yeah. How talented?
Yeah. Honestly, I think it's just really talented. Like, so like we play against this team called the Party Animals, and a dude on their team, Jake Skull, was drafted first
Yeah.
round, 15th pick. And we had a dude on our team this year named Corell Prime, where he was drafted out of high school. And I think because he's one of my closest friends, Corell Prime, and he's older. He's like 31, 32. And at the beginning when I was struggling, I think like I went to him and he was just like, yo, there's nothing wrong with your swing. Just be on time. And like he simplified it to just that and understanding like, I think the older guys and the dudes that, got drafted and stuff like that are really good for this league because then there's dudes that played in college and don't have that pro level experience and things like that to understand like, yo, how is this different from being drafted and playing affiliate ball to what it is now, banana ball. And I think it's just like a, happy medium because Corel Prime, he said he's like learned stuff from me about like how always like I bring energy and being goofy and stuff like that. He never had that experience in college because he never went to college. So
Right.
he was just like how he learned stuff from me and how I got to learn stuff from him. And it's just, a good balance of like who we got. And they're all good guys. So, I think it's really showing like how much this thing has grown.
Well, it's an impressive story. What are you guys opening up this year?
Dope
You got
Campbell,
a
right?
yeah.
Oh,
How
don't
exciting
count.
is that?
I'm super excited. Florida State's always my dream school,
That's
but
right.
went to Florida A&M, which is right across the street. So I'm excited
Right.
to go back.
Well, maybe you guys being on that field and how hard y'all play and talented you are, that'll help lead the football team to a bowl game, maybe a bowl game or something, next year. Who knows?
Sorry, Mr. Ohio State.
Yeah.
Hey, we
So,
pull this off this weekend. We're bowl eligible.
that's right. Good
Hey,
luck.
so we put a question out on our social media that if anyone had to ask a Savannah Banana player a question, what would it be? And we had a good list, but I'm kind of interested in this too. One thing, if you had to tell someone that's different about banana ball, what was unique for you to learn about banana ball?
Uh, I think that just the pace of the game because it's a 2 hour
Okay.
time limit and just you're sprinting everywhere. Like a ball for a sprint, you're trying to get to second, like before everybody touches the ball, like sprinting there. And when you're playing the field, you gotta outfield just has it worse. You gotta run all the way to second base to try to get everybody to touch the ball. And just the pace of play because you're in and off the field super fast, trying to, beat the time limit or whatever. And just the pace of play. Pitchers are working faster.
Right.
That's another problem. Like being on time as a hitter, like being ready, not being able to step out the box. Just the pace of play and being able to perform at a high level when we travel so much. It's just, you got to take care of yourself. And I think that's what it comes down to the pace of play and taking care of yourself.
Plus, you're dancing between every freaking pitch.
Yeah.
And the calories, there's no way to put on any weight. You guys are burning so many calories just during the game alone. Hey, are the umpires as cool as they seem on TV? Are you close with those dudes?
Oh, yeah. Vince, the twerking umpire, the dancing umpire.
Right.
Yeah. He's awesome. He's a great human. And, and then we have Ninja now. He does all the backflip outs and stuff like that. I mean, the umpires are a great group of guys, and I think people get it confused, like because we're playing another team and stuff like that we don't know them, but like we all live in Savannah. We all like Savannah's like everybody's hub, so like we're practicing with these dudes, talking to these dudes, but like I mean, once game time comes, like we got
Oh yeah,
dudes
you want to
cussing out
win.
people and
You know
stuff.
what's weird is you're less than an hour from me, and I haven't seen you come visit the facility yet. I just find that to be odd, but I know you're busy, and I know you just got
I
married.
haven't been
I'm
invited.
not judging, but what'd you say?
I haven't been invited yet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's open 7 days a week
Yeah. So, okay.
to the public.
Are y'all allowed doing things, or is there's always contract? Would you ever be allowed coming down in your full blown uniform and selling, or not selling, signing autographs, or is that
I can come.
forbidden? Is there rules with that?
I mean, I mean, I can come down in my uniform and sign autographs. If I'm getting paid or something like that, there's like a rule, but I mean,
You know, I'm not paying you. I don't pay anybody. It's
hey,
just
but that's the thing. I wouldn't even
I did
I wouldn't
verbal praise.
but yeah,
Yes, you've been doing this for free. 13 years. Thank you.
Hey, hey, Ty, I got a question for you. This question comes from my wife. If you had to describe your playing style as a fruit that's not a banana, what would you be?
I'd have to say a pineapple, just something spicy, you know. I
I
think that's
like that.
I
That's a good
think
answer. I feel
I
like he's been asked that question before. He didn't have to think about that.
no, so something, something different, but hard on the outside, but just good on the inside. That's me.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it. That's a good way.
Hey, I don't want to be that guy, but like this is the face, right? Like the bananas. Are you guys going to start like winning championships again?
You
I
know,
mean, I didn't know. Just asking.
we lost in the semifinals this year on a walk-off home run, and it was devastating. But this year in the draft, we went out and got 8 pitchers, and like 6 of them are lefties. So
Yeah,
I
that's
think the
right.
goal is just to be, pitching dominance because the offense is going to be there. So
You're entertaining the fans, obviously. How are you? Because this thing's not like I for a while I thought it might have been scripted. Then I realized it's not the Harlem Globetrotters where they win every time. Everybody's like that's probably the coolest thing about this thing, right?
yeah,
That you're like, nobody knows who the winner is. Like you're going to get it.
yeah, that's the hardest because there was this period of time where we went on a 9-game losing streak this year to the party animals, and we were just trying all different sorts of stuff. Like, we were just trying everything, just off the field, on the field, and we just couldn't catch a dub. And I think that's when people need to realize, like, yo, it's not scripted. Like, these dudes are
Right.
sucking right now, so they need a win. So I think that's just like the main thing of, yeah, it's not scripted. So it's good that it.
It's probably a dumb question, but do y'all have like because it's baseball. It's the hardest game in the world, right? Hitting a golf ball, hitting a baseball. This game, two hardest things in the world. Do y'all have like sports psychologists? Do you have like mental coaches that do you guys go? You do you? Okay.
We
All
have
right.
we last year was our first year with a sports psychologist, mental coach, and then
You
we
had the
then
whole team during that losing streak.
yeah,
That guy was busy with you guys.
very busy. We have a
These guys
nutritionist.
suck. Let me help them out.
Yeah. Nutritionist, we have a strength and conditioning coach. We have like 7 trainers and a sports doctor. We have a chiropractor. That's good stuff. They take care of us.
Beautiful. Hey, I'm going to ask you a tough question, and I'll let Coach finish up. For our families, you know what we do. Like, we're never going to be even close to nationally ranked at 8, 9, 10. We're going to get our ass kicked at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? I mean, because the way we do things, everything I mean, since Coach has been with me, even before he was with me, I've just always been wired the same way. Like, my big picture, like when an 8-year-old comes, it's probably hard for a family to hear, like, I care about the final product. I want you to be the best version of yourself at, 17, 18 years old. And I don't want to go back. Like what's happening is a lot of kids are playing too much baseball and there's not enough development. But you also are going to lose a little bit more games along the journey when you're just worried about development, not playing. Because there's something to be said for gamemanship. But I know when I inherit a new family, it's probably tough sometimes. Like this guy's talking about something 10 years from today. But I don't, I'm always going to do that, or I don't want to really coach. Like I want that final product because you remember at 14U, we were really good. We won a lot of ball games, and we played a couple of the state's best, like the Pride team.
Right.
We snuck a couple dubs. We didn't have Big Red. We didn't have Big Red, Dirty Red pitching for us. We were going to be in a little bit of trouble. But that whole team signed. We gave them hell, right? And then we go to like showcase. It's like starting all over again. Like, oh boy, there's another brand of baseball. Then you just adjust. 16, you guys had some good moments, and then like at 17U, we just seem to always put it together. That's why I stick to that, because at 17, we always put it together. What do you tell these? The kids really need to, the families really need to panic. Like if this team's not winning, then go to this other team that's loaded and there's no player development. We try to take pride in being comprehensive, but it is difficult talking to a parent that maybe never played sports and saying, look, we're going to be good. You keep bringing him to practice. He already loves baseball. And what I love about it, I love when kids that are not good at baseball keep coming, because they love baseball. They're just not very good at it yet. And that's usually a good end. That's a good family structure when that happens. Usually the final product's really good. What can you tell, because we have a lot of CP. We're growing fast here in South Georgia, and we still have, some Florida kids, but do these kids really need to jump to, national teams? And like, we're going to take care of anybody who's deserving, of it. I always joke about the national. Like, if you're really that good, why don't you save your families like $10,000+ and just go play a normal schedule, because you're a phone call away from any school you want to go to. But what's some advice you could tell when you're not winning? Especially like in this area, that we're a paid product. People pay for our training, and usually when you're in areas that aren't used to doing that, there's a standard of performing faster than you're capable of. We just don't really have a lot of kids that have the motor skills developed yet to perform really well, even though we're trending in a good direction. You got any advice for our families? Because you've been through it, with us for a long time. And, you got to play in a national championship game against a national power. Could you imagine us doing that at 14 years old? Like, wow, we're from North Florida playing in a national championship game. What do you got for me for our kids?
I think it just comes down to, loyalty at the end. It's like a relationship, if we're gonna be loyal, you guys have to be loyal too, as a player, Uh if we're losing, you have to understand losing is learning. If a kid's growing up younger, always winning, they're never gonna learn how to lose. And I think my dad taught me that early, understanding losing. You know, even though you're losing, it's not a loss, but it's learning. Growing from that loss. So if you trust the process of 5 to 6, 7 years down the road, and trust your progress of what you've done for those 5 or 6, 7 years and stay loyal, then you can expect to be wherever you want to be.
All right.
And,
I
and
appreciate I
then
appreciate that.
it transfers now to college, because you can be loyal to a program and then transfer, or if you're loyal, you can end up seeing playing time, and just trust the coach, trust the coaches. At the end of the day, trust the coaches and go where you're wanted. CP wants you, obviously, and that's what I did in my recruiting. Go where you're wanted. At the end of the day, go where you're wanted, not where you want to go. Well, you want to go where you want to. Like, you
Well,
might
you
want.
could have left us when we almost merged and did that merge with the Scorpions, you and Red and a couple guys. They wanted you all fiercely, to be on their, on their number one team down there. And you guys, we remain loyal. That's why I tell a lot of people, so we have a lot of kids in our organization that could have played for anybody that just, stayed loyal. But this thing's just, showcase balls just at a whole different level as soon as you commit, 5 organizations are texting you, that want you to come play with, especially at like an early commit. It's pretty wild out there. It's insane. So, but I appreciate that. Congrats. I'm gonna let Coach ask another question, but I wanted, before we got off, I saw your sister. They won a conference championship.
Mm-hmm. Conference Carolina Championship. Yep. So now they're in a regional and they're playing Wingate. So
Yeah, yeah, that's impressive.
yeah.
All right, Coach. Anything?
I I think that was it. I mean, we appreciate you hopping on with us. And Ty, do you have anything you like to say about Bananas or CP or yourself, your wife, or any, like, what you got? Any shout outs?
I want to shout out CP. First off, I wouldn't be where I'm at without them. Shout out the Bananas, just for the opportunity. I want to shout out
Absolutely.
my wife for keeping my head straight. And then I want
Mhm.
to shout out CP again, because, they made me live life like a 3-1 count. So shout out to them.
That's right.
Well,
Thank
we
you. And even
appreciate
if you
you.
didn't play for the Bananas, you'd still be one of my top 3 players in my coaching career. It had
And
nothing to do with the Bananas.
You might have
You
some
know
people
that.
fighting you for that one, over that
Yeah.
comment.
I know. I'll stick to it, though. I'll stick to it.
Well, we
All
appreciate
right,
you
come
comment.
visit us.
Yep. Hey, don't forget to subscribe, guys. We're trying something new, trying to get the word out. Todd's a special person, special human. So we appreciate you and appreciate you, Coach Coursey, and we'll see you next time.
All right, guys. Thank you.